Hi, my name is Nolan Savage. For exercise psychology, my behavior change was to have an average of 8 hours sleep per night per week. I was able to do this by being specific, having measurable 8 hours of sleep per night, which I use this chart right here, the self-monitoring sleep chart. Let's say on a Tuesday, I needed to wake up at 6:30. So my target time to go to sleep was at 10:30. And then I put my actual go to sleep time. In this case, it was week 1. It was pretty tough at the beginning. I actually went to sleep at 12:30 and I got 6 hours of sleep. And so I put a check mark on the days that I did reach 8 hours of sleep per night. And for that night, I did not. So this was very helpful. It's measurable because obviously using the chart, you can measure how much sleep you got per night. It was attainable because proper time management, discipline, I believe that you can reach this goal. And realistic, 8 hours sleep is a very realistic goal, and it's timely because 4 weeks is plenty of time to do it, and I was able to reach mine in 2 weeks, which I'll talk more about later. But the reason I did this was because in my previous schedule, I believe that I did not get enough sleep as I was getting prior to doing this. I got about 5 to 6 hours of sleep, which was not enough, I believe, for the workouts and for the late night studying I was doing. It just wasn't good enough to give my body the full night's rest it needed. And the benefits that I was looking for was to have more energy throughout the whole day, and not to take naps during the day. And because the naps would cause me to be groggy and just drag my feet in practice, and not have the energy I needed throughout the whole day to get through it all. And for my progression, I went from 7.46 hours average from week 1 to 7.96 in week 2, 8.07 hours of sleep per night in week 3, which I actually met my goal, and then 8.10 in week 4. And week 4 was the week that I actually solidified that, like, it was more towards the system 1 thinking, to where it was more natural to go to the help, get my stuff done, get my workouts done during the day. And the biggest barrier, I think, was my time management, having the discipline to get everything done during the day and not put it off till late at night. Usually beforehand, I would put my schoolwork off till late at night, causing myself to stay up till 12, 1 o'clock, and then having to wake up early. Another barrier was having to wake up early. 7 o'clock, 6 a.m. workouts for baseball was pretty tough. If I had a 6 a.m. workout, I had to go to bed at 9:30. And that was unheard of for me to do beforehand. So that was pretty hard too. Throughout the stages of change, I knew that before even doing this project or hearing about it, I had always been in the contemplation stage, knowing that my sleep habits were a problem, knowing that I didn't get enough sleep before. But once I knew of this project, I was more towards the preparation stage, knowing that I had to make the plans to do so, and the action was actually doing it, and then slowly seeing that progression of getting better sleep habits and having the discipline I needed to do the change. My self-advocacy changed dramatically too. I thought for the first 2 weeks that this wouldn't even be possible. I was getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep before, and I thought 8 hours of sleep was just be too hard to do. And then being able to control my environment and then taking care of my social environment as well was able to help me do this as well. But the temptations I also overcame were on the weekends. The baseball team, we usually go out, we usually hang out pretty late. So the way to overcome that was on Friday nights I would go to bed, go home pretty early, 11, 12 o'clock, and then give myself a little more leeway on Saturday nights to go out. And that's where I lost a little bit of sleep, because usually I can't sleep past 9 or 10 o'clock anyways. But the biggest motivation for this whole thing was taking care of my body. Just like I like to take care of it in the gym, I know that getting the sleep I needed was going to help me recover even more. System 2 thinking was dominant during most of the behavior change, knowing that the goal setting, and knowing that if I have the time set before me and actually look at this throughout the day, I know that I have to change my behavior and change my actions to where I can get to sleep at a certain time. And so during the last week, I was more system 1 and wind down more naturally around 9 o'clock. But my future plan about to change is I think I'll continue to do this if I naturally go to bed early, and then wind down during the day. But 2 lessons I learned were sleep gives you plenty of energy throughout the course of the day, and it is hard to go to sleep early if you don't have to do that before. I'd use like melatonin to go to bed early to knock me out. But 2 ideas for the future I would use was, if I ran a business as a personal trainer, I would highly recommend this, my own self-monitoring form for my clients. And having the discipline to get my priorities done for school was very big to helpful in this too. So that's 2 things I learned from that, and 2 things I would implement in the future.